Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have fried zucchini chips, or coloquithequilla. I love this dish. It harkens back to when I was in Boston. We used to go to this restaurant called Cava with a K, and they had these amazing fried zucchini chips. They're the best I've ever had. I love them. Now I need to make some at home. This is an amazing summer recipe. If you're hosting a potluck, put out as kind of like an hors d'oeuvre. People could come by, grab a zucchini chip, dunk it in some tzatziki, and then carry on your merry way. I'm going to make those fried zucchini chips. I'm also going to make some tzatziki. So now that we know what we're doing, let's get started. First things first, let's gather our ingredients. You are going to need some zucchini. You need some cornstarch. I got some whole milk Greek yogurt here. I love fage here. You're going to need some baking powder, a cucumber. You're going to need some dill, garlic. You're going to need some lemons, some flour, and a little bit of olive oil. And you're gonna need some salt. Now that we've gathered our ingredients, let's get started. First thing we gotta do is we have to salt these zucchini. Now, if you have a mandolin at home, you probably wanna bust it out here. If not, I have my amazing microplanes, and I have a little blade here, which is exactly 1/8 of an inch deep. This is how thick you want to cut it. If you don't have that, sometimes food processors have the 1/8 inch cutting disc. You can use that. You can cut it by hand. Mandolin's probably the easiest. I have two relatively small zucchini here. I have extra just in case. I need to slice them up, and I need to salt them, and I need to let them sit for about 30 minutes. But don't worry, while they sit, we're going to make the tzatziki, and we're going to prep our batter, if you will. Let's get these zucchini chips started. I'm going to do it at a bit of an angle, but it's just going to make it easier for me to slice. You don't need to do it. What I should have done was left the top on, so that could have been my handle. Never remember. Right, I have my zucchini chips. I'm gonna put them in a bowl, and I am gonna put an excessive amount of salt on them. Don't worry, they're not gonna be that salty. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of kosher salt here. 2 tablespoons, you heard that right. Toss them around in the bowl, make sure everything is coated. I can already feel the water starting to leach out of these. It's really just sucking it out. Now let's put it into a colander, and we're going to have this drip back into our bowl. You got to let it sit for, 30 minutes. First things first, we got to start with the garlic. I like to make a lot of tzatziki, and I like it garlicky. So I am going to put in about 3 cloves of garlic, but I'm going to mince them with my garlic mincer. If you mince it by hand, probably only 2 garlic cloves here. All right, so we have our 3 minced garlic cloves. I'm now going to put in about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now, I'm doing this intentionally, just the garlic and the lemon juice. The lemon juice is going to tame the garlic a little bit. It's going to take off a little bit of that spice. It's going to still be garlicky, but it's not going to be like spicy, like eating raw garlic. It's going to just kind of tame it a little bit. So while this sits, it only needs a couple minutes kind of just to get tame here. I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients. Between 1/4 and 1/3 cup shredded cucumber. It's going to be about half of one of these, unless you get one that's really long. Also going to get some dill in there. You really need the dill. This is kind of like what makes it. So make sure you wash it thoroughly. I found sand in here. I found like pebbles. All right, wash it. You're going to need maybe about a tablespoon. It's pretty potent, so 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. I'm going to take my tablespoon and reserve the rest. So it's been about 5 minutes. My lemon juice has tamed my garlic. Now I'm going to start adding the other ingredients. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oil in here. Now it's time to add the yogurt. I'm going to add about a cup of this fage yogurt here, and then can go back and adjust. I can add a little bit extra dill if I want, or I can add a little bit extra cucumber or lemon juice, salt, etc. Make it how you want it to taste. All right, let's get our cucumber and dill in. Now I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of my kosher salt here. I'm just going to give it a good mix, and you got to let it sit. I would cover it, put it in the refrigerator. Definitely taste it, make sure it's good, but the flavors will meld. The cucumber is going to give off a little bit of liquid, making it more like a dip. The Greek yogurt's important here. We're not using regular plain yogurt. The Greek yogurt's a little bit tighter, and then when you get that cucumber kind of liquid leaching out, it becomes looser, and voila, you get the right consistency. So it's not going to be the right consistency immediately. Let me give it a taste for salt and lemon. Perfect. So I'm going to cover, refrigerate until we're ready to use. Zucchini are looking good. They're looking sweaty. They look like they're in a Russian sauna or something. We got a good amount of liquid down there. Just going to shake them up, push them around, just let them drip down. I have a sheet tray here with paper towels. We are going to press these dry. You can use dish towels if they're clean and they're not going to get fibers on them. Otherwise, some high quality paper towels are important here. All right, let's make the batter. For our batter, it's going to be really simple here. I'm going to do 1 cup all-purpose flour, half a cup cornstarch. Now, instead of using seltzer, which you often use in batters, or like beer batters, you use beer, you use something kind of fizzy. Instead of doing that, I'm going to add a little bit of baking powder into this. It's going to help keep things tender and also light and fluffy. So hopefully we get that crisp topping that isn't like tooth cracking. You want it still a little bit tender. Baking powder is going to help with that. I'm going to be adding a teaspoon baking powder, not soda. All right, now let's whisk this around. I also have my Dutch oven over here. It's got a couple quarts of oil in it. So I'm going to be doing this in batches, probably 2 or 3 batches for these zucchini. They're kind of a pain to get out of the batter into the oil. Bear with me. They're worth it. Believe me. Trust me. You're also going to need, for the batter, I'm not going to finish it yet because I want to finish these zucchini before I finish the batter. But I'm going to need 1 1/4 cups of water here. All right, let's see. See how much liquid. Yeah, so we got almost a 1/4 cup. I'd say 3 tablespoons of liquid out. Fantastic. I'm now going to spread these out. I guess I could have done another zucchini. Oh, well. Next time. This is enough. All right, I'm going to get my oil going over high heat. I want to get it up to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Trying to get these out into pretty much a single layer. What I am going to do now is I'm just essentially going to press on these and get as much water out. I wonder if I can roll this up. Oh, yeah. So our zucchini is as dry as possible. Let's finish up that batter. 1 1/4 cups of water. Whisk this thoroughly. I'll be honest with you, it smells and looks exactly like plaster. All right, it is time to get the zucchini into the batter here. This is painstaking. All right, I'm just gonna mix this up. Now it's important they don't really stick together. Let's go over to the stove over here. All right, I know how this sounds. I'm going to be adding them essentially one at a time, but I'm going to be using 2 hands, and I'm hopefully going to get a whole bunch in. Wish me luck. Here we go. I've never done this before. It's my first time. I'm going to cook these probably for 5 minutes. I want them really nice and crispy. So I got about half the zucchini in. So look at them. I'm going to keep them separate. These are looking good. They floated up to the top. If they stick, try and break them apart. If there's any stuck to the bottom, get them off the bottom as soon as possible. I think we're looking pretty good. Drop the heat a little bit. You can see here I'm at around 336 degrees. So I sort of want to maintain that temperature, 350. Between 325 and 350 is ideal. I'd prefer it at 350, but it's really hard to control. Nothing hotter than 375. You're getting into burning territory. So with my spider, I'm just going to flip them. Make sure that they're getting crispy on both sides. Why? Because you eat both sides. All right, they're starting to get a little golden brown. They're starting to turn kind of like the color of the oil, which is exactly what I want. I don't want them burnt. I don't want them pale white. I want some golden brown deliciousness. They're looking good. They're getting golden brown. Any parts that are not battered like this one are getting nice and fried. Hopefully it's still crisp. And I'm going to go ahead and take these out. I have my paper towel lined sheet tray. I have my wire rack. I'm going to put them on the wire rack. The paper towels are going to absorb all the oil that drips down. We're not going to get any sogginess because they're on the wire rack, and all the oil is going to be dripping off. Now, typically I salt stuff immediately when it comes up after being fried. I'm not going to do that here. I want to taste one to make sure it's not overly salted. It's back at it. 2 hands working these zucchini in. All right, I got the rest of my zucchini in. I'm just going to stir. I'm going to say 5 to 8 minutes on these. So I have my zucchini chips here. I am just going to get them onto the paper towel, make room for my incoming ones. Turn off the heat. Here we go. Look at this puffy one. Perfectly crunchy, juicy zucchini on the inside, and the tzatziki If you're hosting a potluck or something like, and you're outside, put these out. People will eat all of these. I did not make enough. I actually thought 2 zucchini might be enough because you cut them so thin. I probably made what, 50 zucchini chips? That's enough for me. I got a family of 5 to feed. Do you hear that crunch? All right, one more. All right, well, that was fried zucchini chips, one of my favorite summertime appetizers. I absolutely love it. I hope you loved watching it as well. If you did, don't forget, you can follow me on YouTube and Twitch. I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Take care.